Hello, I'm Theolyn Cortens, and welcome once more to Signs and Wonders. Today I'm going to be talking about messengers and messages, and in particular about messages that human beings receive from angels or archangels. Now, just as a recap, the difference between an archangel and an angel is that the archangels have got a bigger scenario over which they are focusing their attention, right? So they're more to do with information for the collective. When they bring a message, it's usually a big one. So the most famous archangel of all time, what every school child learns about at Christmas, is Archangel Gabriel. And Gabriel is particularly well known for delivering more than one message to humanity. Gabriel tells Mary that she's going to have a child, Jesus, and even her relation, a much older woman who's too old to have children, Elizabeth, she is told that she's going to have a baby as well, John the Baptist. Furthermore, Gabriel is the archangel who comes to Muhammad when he's praying in the cave and tells Muhammad to recite the Quran. And that great piece of mystical and religious poetry was initiated by that visit. So we know through history that turning points for human cultural events have been associated with a visitation from one of these extraordinary beings. I don't know whether I want to use the word supernatural for them, because I think they're embedded in the natural cosmos, and they arise when human consciousness is in a particular state of need, but also in a particular state to receive something new that might arise. And so the gifted mystical person, or the person who's at least a seeker, and seekers are often reputed to find, when somebody opens themselves up, almost like becoming a channel, then these powerful messages, these powerful events, like a holy book or a holy child, may emerge out of the experiences of human beings who mostly consider themselves to be fairly ordinary people. And there's plenty of information about that kind of experience throughout history. And history can be changed when somebody has an experience like that. Joan of Arc talked to archangels. She was guided by archangels and saints. And she followed what they told her, and the course of French history was changed, even though she died very young. So that individual receives the message, and in older periods of time, they believed the message. They didn't immediately go and seek some medication. And they followed through with what the message was giving them as information. Even in the 17th century, the famous French philosopher René Descartes had an experience with some kind of angelic force which told him that human beings could find things out about the universe by using their reason. And Descartes, has got quite a bad reputation now for being too much of a reasoning person. But nonetheless, he was actually, at that time, he would have been a religious man. So he believed what he was being told, and he acted on it, and gave us a great wealth of philosophical and intelligent reasoning, which is not to be ignored, even if you don't put reasoning before intuition. It's still not to be ignored because it's had a profound effect on Western culture. So, as I said, in days of yore, people didn't rush to the medication. Although it has to be said that Muhammad did wonder whether he was going mad, and he ran back to his wife, who was an older woman apparently, and she said, "No, you're not going mad. You're a prophet." And so it moved on from there. Behind every great man is an intelligent woman, we could say. So let's go back to what potentially could be the messages of our time. So Gabriel is very much associated with the arrival of Christianity as a huge cultural shift, and the effects of Christianity and how it grew in the first couple of centuries BCE is still with us, right? I mean, even secular Western culture bases itself on, some very simple Christian ideals, and they don't belong to Christianity necessarily because they seem so obvious, like love thy neighbour. So what's happening now, 2,000 years later, and the astrologers are saying this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Well, to pin the date down for that dawning is quite a problem, so we won't go there. But if Aquarius is the sign of our times, and right now with the Great Conjunction in Aquarius, and Pluto about to go into Aquarius in 2023, there is a great deal of emphasis on that sign, which I was talking about in a previous video, the Great Conjunction. So, what archangel might come to us? Now, this archangel I'm going to introduce may be familiar to you, but maybe quite new to some people. It certainly was new to me when I started discovering archangels, is Raziel. And I'm going to show you, well, first of all, I'll show you Gabriel from my pack of the angel script. And Gabriel is carrying a scroll in his hand, and he's got lots of magical letters, the angel script letters pouring down from his mouth. So he's delivering something in words, and as a scroll or a book, you could say. And that's what he's famous for. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got an orb of light in his hand, you could say. And he's very much, he's very human looking in a way. He's got a human face. In my pack of angel script cards, I have given the archangels faces, although, they're not humans really, but there we go. We want to be able to see them in some way that we can relate to. So there's Gabriel. Now this is Raziel. And there is a face in that picture, but there's lots of bzzz energy coming off that face. And that's because I experienced Raziel when I was in deep meditation as a very highly charged, high vibration, mind-blowing kind of energy. And mind-blowing in the sense of not even giving you the words that you need, but giving you the information, like a very fast download, some people might say. So the experience of meeting Raziel compared with the experience of meeting Gabriel, for me, from my personal experience, is that Raziel is working at a much higher vibration. And indeed, some astrologers have suggested that Uranus is a higher vibration energy, higher octave energy than Mercury. And I would associate Gabriel with Mercury and Raziel with Uranus. Now, the stories that are associated with Raziel are extremely interesting. And again, perhaps I'll put those into an extra video, because he deserves one of his own. Notice I call him he. I have got a children's book in which the archangels are all called she, and they don't have gender, but there's something quite kind of punchy and forceful about this Raziel energy. It's like, you're not going to get away with ignoring me. I'm just going to come in and I'm going to give you all this stuff. We call it a download. It's a dump. Like, here you are, get on with it, do that. That's my personal experience of this. And it comes in such flashes, this like electrical flashes. And I certainly experienced it as blue, like bright blue, as you saw in my image. And I think that's what is going on with the sign of Aquarius. There's a kind of almost, it's so fast that it doesn't feel human, or it feels superhuman. It might even feel alien. It might even feel like it's come from the stars, and that, you know, or another planet. So this high energy content can be given to us, and especially it can be given to us when we meditate, because meditation allows us to go into what we call the liminal space between the worlds. That's what somebody like Muhammad was doing, you know, and people of his kind. They would go out into the desert, find a cave, wrap themselves in a big shawl, a cloak of some kind, sensory deprivation, we would call it, and sit there for a long time, most likely fasting as well. And the idea of that was to put themselves in touch with the divine, to become open to more input, because they shut off the usual everyday input. And so that's what you can do when you meditate, at least just twice a day for 20 minutes. You can do that. And it will give you the opportunity to get messages. Now, you might not be the kind of person who would even want to take on the mantle of being a prophet. However, you can get in touch with your own personal angel, or your genius, your daimon, whatever name you want to call it, the inner guide that's for you personally. So as I said, the archangels are dealing with collectives, but the angels can deal with things that are much more personal. So you, for yourself, for your own joy and abundance in life, will do very well if you make sure you keep in touch with the divine within. And as I say, you can do that by meditating. And I also recommend, when you meditate, wrap a shawl around you. Even put it over your head if you want to. Just enclose yourself in some way. You're doing that as a symbol of being closed off, being closed in to the divine, and retreating from the everyday world. And then you can listen for messages. You can ask for messages. You can ask for messages from Gabriel if you want. But certainly you will get very easy access to your own personal, individual angel who will guide you through thick and thin. And if you take that on, that you are an eternal soul, and as an eternal soul you have a guide who you can call on for your personal needs, then you can handle anything, actually. Anything. Many, many blessings. Keep meditating. Keep shining.